We're starting off the new year with an absolute bang. 8 new Gacha games are going to be releasing into a playable state, beta testing, and full release. These are games of all genres with different combat styles, different graphical styles, different regions of origin. Some are going to be massive hits, some are going to be massive failures. We're going to play all of them because why not? We can't accurately gauge whether a game is good or bad without playing it. Plus, it gives us something to do. Hey, my name is Stix and welcome back to another episode of Gachas releasing next month, a video series I do every single month where I take the time to make you aware of everything releasing in the coming 30 days in an effort to make sure you don't miss out on anything. If you enjoy this series, make sure to like the video, leave a comment letting me know what you're most excited for, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell notification. That way, you don't miss anything I post, and trust me, I post a lot, so don't miss out. Plus, I kind of enjoy chatting to some of you guys in the comment section. If you're curious what came out last month though, or if you're curious what came out at any point this year, consider checking out any video in this series. Other than that, let's jump right in. Let's start this off with Arknights Enfield. This is arguably one of the most anticipated upcoming Gacha games of the last several years, comparable in popularity to Wuthering Waves due to the success of its predecessor, Arknights. Enfield is going to enter into a technical test phase on January 12, 2024. As of December 27th, there is no confirmed end date for this test phase. Enfield takes a franchise in the entire opposite direction from Arknights, with Arknights featuring an instance mission-based strategy tower defense style of gameplay, and Enfield featuring a completely open world with a hybrid action combat system, similar to Xenoblade Chronicles if you've ever played that for the Switch. Unfortunately, it does seem as though pre-registration for the technical test phase has concluded as of December 24th, but I did do a dedicated video informing you all of the pre-registration period. This is why you turn on notifications, guys, so you do not miss out on opportunities like this. This test phase will be global and will be available on PC. I did a dedicated video on Devil May Cry Peak of Combat a couple months ago during its test phase. I called it an absolute abomination, an insult to the Devil May Cry franchise, and that's because it is. I played it for a week straight. I invested over a dozen hours into it, and that drove me almost to the point of deleting LD Player, the emulator, from my computer. This was an atrocious, horrendous, disgusting game with terrible gameplay, horrible graphics, and arguably some of the worst voice acting I've heard in a Gacha game released in the last several years. But for those of you that like companies straddling your face, slowly positioning themselves atop your mouth and taking a hot steaming dump down your throat, you'll be happy to know that Peak of Combat releases fully on January 10th, 2024. I bet you guys cannot wait. Now, before we discuss the remainder of Gacha games launching in January 2024, allow me to thank our incredible patrons over on Patreon. You guys allow for me to make videos like this every single month, and I deeply appreciate you all being there for me. Love and Deepspace is a highly anticipated sci-fi otome game that has some surprisingly impressive 3D graphics. Otome games, of course, are dating sims targeted towards females. In Love and Deepspace, you create your own female character and try to survive a barrage of romantic assaults from very attractive men. Like the types of men that make you feel quite emasculated. They're hotter than your girlfriend and they're more handsome than you. Admittedly, I know very little about the game, but after seeing a trailer for it, I really couldn't help but be a little bit intrigued. Don't get me wrong, I am very comfortable in my sexuality as a waifu lover, and I can happily admit that I would totally play a Gacha game where hot men try to win my affection. Love and Deepspace launches fully on January 18th. Wonder's Eternal World is an interesting game due to its hybrid hub-based open world. You can see other players running around enjoying the world, but the world itself is kind of segregated between areas. Players will either group together with several players, or they'll go it alone as they enter dozens of dungeons and compete against one another in competitive minigames. My wife, Mrs. Stix, did a dedicated video on Wonders earlier in 2023, and admittedly, while she did have fun, it felt very repetitious and monotonous. The game was cute, but it seemed to lack substance, which was fine. It was a test phase after all. Wonder's Eternal World is launching fully on January 8th, 2024. However, this will not be, for whatever reason, a global release. Rather, the game will be launching in the Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, and Australia, with a global release coming, hopefully shortly after. But that will not stop those of us interested in the game from playing it. Now I know what you're thinking, a gacha game based on an anime IP. Garbage. And you wouldn't be wrong. Tokyo Revenger's last mission is a gacha game, based on the Tokyo Revengers anime. The game currently has pre-registration open and available, and surprisingly, is confirmed to be releasing not only onto Android and iOS, but PS4, PS5, and PC. This game is releasing onto every major platform. Like every gacha game adapting a popular anime series, Last Mission is going to allow players to relive the events of the main story, where they leap through time, recreate characters in full 3D, and bring back voice actors from the series. I don't expect much from the game, but I believe it's releasing at some point early in February, which is why I'm including it, because I want to make sure those of you that are actually interested in playing it can pre-register ready. Sort of colonoscopy, colonsparia. It's a beautiful tactical RPG that reminds me of a kind of a lot of Brown Dust 2, actually, with combat similar to Final Fantasy Tactics. It features a deep, choice-based narrative, strategic turn-based combat on a grid-based battlefield, a neo-pixel art style, and music by Hitoshi Sakimoto, known for Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy XII, and Tactics Ogre. Sort of Convallaria. There we go. Convallaria is holding an upcoming test phase beginning on January 11th, lasting through January 18th. Players will be able to play the game via PC and Android. It, for some reason, doesn't seem as though iOS is a platform included in this test phase specifically, but might have a test phase dedicated to it in the future. Strangely, the creators are sort of clandestine. You know what? You can see the title of the game on like at the top of the screen. If players can find text errors in this game, they'll be rewarded with Amazon gift cards. So you're kind of being paid to test it if you can find enough grammatical errors. Anyway, yeah, I'm kind of excited for this one. It looks pretty damn good aesthetically. Nordium is a degenerate sci-fi action gacha game that offers players some of the most explicit waifus that you'll encounter in the gacha genre. Nornium takes place in space, where players take control of droids and, engage aliens, space creatures, and in action combat, utilizing dodges, parries, and some pretty sick-looking special effects. A global release has been confirmed, with the small dev team working tirelessly to bring their dream of Nornium to fruition. Nornium is confirmed to be releasing onto Android and iOS, potentially PC, with a closed beta beginning on December 28th. Lasting through January 11th, meaning you can technically get in and play the game right now. Persona 5 The Phantom X is one of... Wait, is this a... I think this is the first, right? I don't know. It is a new Persona 5 spin-off titled The Phantom X and is releasing in China currently. This incarnation of the game isn't developed by Atlus or Sega. Instead, Perfect World Games and Blackwing Studio are in charge of the game, which has a Chinese origin as opposed to Japanese. However, they did confirm that both Atlus and Sega have, in quotation here, deep involvement in the game's development. Combat seems to be turn-based, however, there are some alterations made. Players will be able to explore Tokyo, and you can fish, you can bathe, you can exercise in the gym, you can work, you can watch movies and go on dates. I don't know why you're playing the game if that's the point of the game. The closed beta begins on January 22nd and lasts an undisclosed length of time. And that is all 8 gacha games that I am aware of that are releasing in some form and are playable in January 2024. There's a lot to be excited for, and some we're gonna want to immediately pass on. But hopefully, January provides you something to have some fun in. Again, if you're interested, I urge you to check one of the videos on screen right now for more gacha goodness.